My girlfriend said I'm boring now that I'm stable. I replied stability pays bills, not drama. Then I canceled the chaos budget, closed the door on performances, and scheduled my life like a business meeting. Results replaced apologies, and her audience vanished when the sponsorship ended. I'm 34. I'm Mark from Austin. I stabilized my life. IT job, a $12,000 cushion, expenses under control. She's 29, Hannah, a bartender with a podcast dream and a habit of living the storyline. Saturday in San Antonio at her friend's birthday. She raises a glass and says into the mic, "Mark got boring since he started adulting. Laughter, phones, stories." I smiled, paid the bill, and quietly took out the trash after the party. An hour later, she posts a reel. Stability is fear. In the Uber home, I realize my purchases, studio rent, her Yeti mic, Ubers to recordings, turned into props for her show. Sunday she throws, "I need emotions, not spreadsheets." I swallowed it, logged in my notes. Public shaming, mocking plans, passive aggression. Lyle, my coworker, says, "Dude, you're not boring. You just stopped funding fireworks." San Antonio wasn't supposed to be a test. We did Pearl Brewery, paper wristbands, mezcal shots that tasted like campfire. I kept timing water rounds and rideshares so we wouldn't end up stranded. She called it dad energy into a JBL speaker while everyone howled. I tipped the server 25% and hid in the kitchen to help scrape plates because that's how I survive noise. Jobs with edges. Her bartender friends framed it as theater. "Hannah's brand is chaos," one said, squeezing my shoulder like I was a prop. Another handed her a ring light. "Say a line about spreadsheets killing sparks." She nailed it in one take. I heard my own name become a punchline with cake crumbs on the counter. In the Uber, she curled against the window, scrolling comments. "See? People relate," she murmured. My banking app stared back. A dozen charges over the month tied to her episodes. $218 for studio sublease. $36 here, $54 there. $89 for an urgent ring light, $27 to Sonia rideshare, because she left a tote of cords. I tagged them pod, invest in my sheet. I was the quiet VC who never asked for equity. At home, I found glitter on our bath mat and a stack of unopened mail. Insurance renewal, a dentist reminder, my 401k statement with a small upward arrow. I put the mail in a neat fan, brewed chamomile, and wrote a single line in a new Apple note titled Receipts. 8:42 p.m. Toast into mic. Mark got boring. Crowd laughs. I pay bill. $417.12. Sunday morning she set up the ring light in our living room. The one window that actually gets good light at 10 a.m. "I'm doing a debrief," she said without looking at me. "Can you not type right behind me? The keystrokes are harsh." I moved to the bedroom and audited the last 90 days. I'm not obsessed. I'm thorough. I wear the same Timex, keep the Fluke multimeter in my desk, label cables with painter's tape. I track because tracking once kept me from missing a rent check. When she finished recording, she flopped onto the couch. "You know I love you," she said, "but you went beige. Where's the guy who booked Vegas on a Tuesday?" I remembered. I booked it on points after an outage bonus. We ate tacos in a casino hallway and I still filed my expense report on time. Lal texted a link to a meme, a spreadsheet with a heart emoji pasted onto the total cell. "Your love language," he wrote. I didn't laugh. I typed boundaries into my note and stared at the cursor. That afternoon, Hannah proposed a reset. In practice, it meant me covering her studio rent one last month so momentum doesn't die, and her limiting public roasts to like 2 a week. She said it like a concession package. I countered with a budget talk at 7 p.m. and a shared calendar for recording nights. She kissed my cheek and said, "We'll see." At 7 p.m., she was live on Instagram. The caption, "Dating an Excel wizard, send thoughts." The comments called me financially abusive because I'd asked for a calendar. Someone Venmo requested me $5 for emotional damages. I declined and screenshotted. By 10 p.m., she was asleep on the couch, one earbud in, ring light still warm. I slid the light switch off, covered her with the throw blanket, and put her phone on Do Not Disturb. Then I opened my note and added, 10:14 p.m., IG Live, Excel Wizard, bit. Strangers diagnose me. I sat there a long time, watching the city blink through our blinds, hearing the faint hum of our fridge. Not dramatic, just a quiet hinge. The night I stopped being a storyline and started being a ledger. Tuesday at 6:12 a.m., I opened my Budget 2025 file. $1,950 rent, $280 utilities, $420 car, $600 groceries. One more line, Chaos Fund for $150. Urgent photo shoots, costumes, candles for aesthetic, bar checks after networking. I drag that to $0. New note in bold. Starting November 1st. Shared expenses only by agreement and in advance. Gifts only on holidays. Rides each pays their own. Subscriptions, whoever owns the login owns the bill. I export to PDF, timestamp, airdrop to myself, and print a copy at work. Receipts, not vibes. At lunch, I sift statements with a highlighter. $74.19 party store, $118 costume rental, $32 dry ice, $56 neon gel filters, $41 Uber back from collab. I total the last 90 days. $1,367.52 tied to content. In the margin I write, no more unilateral swipes. Lal leans over my cubicle wall. That's a retainer, he says, for a lawyer who keeps suing you. I smile without humor and keep tallying. My Fluke multimeter sits next to my keyboard because I fixed the office coffee grinder at 9 a.m. Something I can measure. That evening we meet at a cafe on South Congress. Two-top wobbly leg, soft jazz, oat milk foam patterns. I slide her the one-page budget policy and a yellow post-it with a simple split. Rent 50-50, utilities 50-50, groceries 60-40. She's vegan, buys specialty stuff. Car and insurance mine, studio hers. She laughs loud enough to turn ahead. Are you an accountant or my boyfriend? I say, calm. Stability pays the bills, not drama. She thumbs through like it's a menu. My audience needs stories. Then tell them how you work for them, I say. Her voice hardens. I'm an artist. I'm a partner, not a sponsor. A table of UT students pretends not to listen. I point to the line about subscriptions. The Spotify with my card? Switch it by Friday. Riverside and Canva? Keep but you pay. If you want me at a live show, I'll buy my ticket like everyone else. She fishes out her phone and starts tapping. I'm documenting this. I nod. Great. Document the splits too. She frames me in 9:16. My man's turning our love into a spreadsheet, she narrates. I reply on camera. Shared expenses. Boundaries. Consent before charges. She lowers the phone. The bit won't play if I don't flinch. We move to numbers. She makes $2,100 to $2,800 bartending a month plus $120 to $300 from pods. Depending on sponsor codes, I make $7,300 net. Steady. I say we can still travel, one trip a quarter, cash in hand. We circle festival tickets. If it's content, she buys. If it's couple, we split. She writes couple versus content with a heart over the question mark. I leave the heart alone. Then the chorus dials in. Sonia, co-host, texts a paragraph. Art needs patrons. A bartender friend adds, what's yours is hers. That's partnership. I send a single screenshot. Our lease shows my name as primary, her as occupant. Rent routed through my account. Equal voice. I type. Requires equal risk. Seen no reply. We test the new rules immediately. On the way out, she suggests a celebratory margarita crawl, then pauses. I'll put it on my tab, she says carefully. We split a single check. She pays drinks, I pay parking $8. I keep the receipt. She keeps hers. Oddly tender, the ritual of separate pockets. At home, I move joint cards into two piles. Shared Costco Amex, authorized user removed, personal Visa, mine, her debit, hers. I revoke her Amex user status at 9:03 p.m., screenshot the confirmation, and email it with the subject, Authorized User Change, effective tonight. Facts, not subtext. 10 minutes later my phone buzzes. Financially abusive, from a handle with 3 underscores. I reply politely to nothing. Wednesday, she posts a carousel. A close-up of my spreadsheet, a latte, a caption, adulting check-in. The comments split like wet wood. Half applaud boundaries. Half say money cage. I pin my own comment. Shared planning meeting. Tuesday 7 p.m. agenda linked. I attach a Google Doc with bullet points. Rent due dates, bill owners, and ask before buy list for anything over $150. She texts me a single skull emoji. Then your very method. I answer, reliable. Thursday, a test. Her ring light dies before a live stream. She texts, urgent, $89 at Target. I reply, your business expense, go for it. She buys it, sends me the receipt out of habit, then corrects herself, oh right, my cost. No fight, just new muscle memory growing where entitlement used to be. That night we cook. She dices onions. I rinse black beans. She glances at my note on the counter. What's today's entry? I read it out. 1106. Policy delivered. Amex user removed. Target ring light. Her card. No escalations. She smirks. You're writing our story like a cop. I shake the pan. No. Like an editor. When we eat, she asks if the rules mean I don't believe in her dream. I say I do, enough to stop sabotaging it with invisible subsidies that keep stakes low. If you want a sponsor, I add, pitch one with a media kit and a rate card. She lifts her glass. To rate cards, she says. We clink. For the first time in months, I taste calm. A week later, her emotions have call sheets. We're at Riverside Brunch, the one with the garage doors and string lights still on at noon. A server sets down kiloquils and a grapefruit spritz. Hannah straightens, projects. Mark forbids me to be myself. Heads swivel. The table behind us lifts a phone. I keep my fork moving, breathe through the count of 4. When the leather check presenter lands, $86, tip not included. She slides it to me with 2 fingers. My card's paused till Friday, she says, stage whisper. I slide it back. Then we order like your card is live. The server blinks. Hannah laughs too loud, calls it a bit. I pay my half in cash, leave $6 for the busser, and screenshot the time, 12:41 p.m., for my note. At the studio, her co-host Riley wields a tote that says, feelings pay bills. He pulls me aside near the foam panels. Bro, artists need support. I keep my voice even. Support isn't the same as no limit. He tilts his head. Limits are fear. I point to the room. Limits are why the rent gets paid on time. They record love versus control. I sit in the lobby with my laptop, pushing a patch to a staging server, headphones on, screen dimmed. Through the glass, I catch my silhouette in their frame, my shoulder, my collar. I move further back, line up behind a ficus. At 6:03 p.m., a clip drops anyway. My outline, her caption in white type, when budget talk is a muzzle. Comments detonate. Run from the abuser. Financial control is violence. My phone vibrates at a metronome rate. I drag it face down and keep typing. At 7:18 p.m., Stripe pings. $139 charged to my card for her temporary prop storage, a unit we opened for a month in June when she collected thrift store chairs for a set. I had tagged it her business reimburse, and then forgot under summer's noise. I text, starting today your stuff, your payments. I'm not part of performances. She replies instantly, you're breaking my career. I log it. Ongoing public smearing, till Friday pressure, shifting responsibilities. I draft a silence plan in notes. Header, no stage protocol. Items. 1. No appearances on her channels, even background silhouettes. 2. No commentary in comments. 3. No joint posts. 4. Redirect any DMs to private matter. Wish her well. 5. Keep receipts. 6. Protect quiet. White noise machine at night. Phone on focus. Apartment door camera armed. I tape a copy inside my closet above the shoe rack. By Thursday, the chorus has sheet music. Sonia posts a story. When partners fear your light. Hannah reposts with glitter gifs. Her bartender manager, who used to joke with me about bad tippers, corners me at the rail. You're strangling momentum, man. I look at the POS screen tallying mojitos. Momentum doesn't pay late fees. He scoffs. Someone orders 6 shots. The moment dissolves. That night, Hannah says we need to talk vibe minimums. She wants 2 spontaneous dates per week, non-budgeted. So the algorithm doesn't eat us. I open calendar. We can do Tuesday tacos and a Saturday hike. Spontaneous inside a window. She groans. You turn kisses into Jira tickets. I let that pass. We can also build you a media kit. Pitch sponsors instead of guilting me. She throws a cushion. Sponsors want drama. You're starving the arc. Friday, my HR inbox dings. Anonymous complaint about a hostile male employee who bullies creatives. Submitted from a Gmail with her co-host's handle buried in the recovery email. I forward to HR with a comm summary. Possible spillover from partners' public content. HR replies with a ticket number and, after a brief zoom, closes it as unrelated to workplace operations. I add the ticket ID to my note. Saturday, I go to the storage unit with a dolly, a printed ledger, and painter's tape. I inventory 2 director's chairs, for neon acrylic frames, a broken ring light, 3 wigs, a box of candles labeled Moody. I text her, Unit 17B, your name moved to primary. Card update required by November 30th. After that, lock gets cut. She responds with a crying emoji, then a 1,200-word note about partners carry each other. I reply with a 12-word sentence. Partners plan together. Sponsors pay alone. Choose which one you want. The clip keeps circulating. A cousin I haven't heard from since a 2016 wedding writes, Bro, what did you do? I send my standard line, private matter. Wish her well. A stranger DMs a Venmo request for $3.33 labeled, tax for controlling men. Decline. Screenshot. Move on. Sunday night, I take down the framed photo of us at Zilker's Kite Festival. I wrap it in brown paper and slide it into the hall closet. Not a punishment, just removing props. I replace it with a cheap print of the Greenbelt Trail map. Paths, distances, trailheads. Different kind of story. Lines, choices, returns. Before bed, I update the silence plan with one more step. 7. No debriefs in friend groups. Share with Lyle only. Monday, I'll call the venue about refundable deposits, double-check our renter's insurance, and add a passcode to the front door lock. Quiet is not absence. It's strategy. I'm done auditioning in her plot. I turn my life into a sprint board. Calendar blocks, color-coded. Blue for work, green for body, gold for finances, gray for sleep. Sunday 5 p.m. Weekly finance review. Tuesday 7 p.m. Meal plan and groceries. Thursday 6 a.m. Run the boardwalk, 5K. I kill the chaos fund at 9:12 a.m. Move the $450 to an emergency buffer, and rename the account Quiet. I cancel shared subs where I'm owner. Spotify, transfer. Hulu, cancel. Riverside, hers. Canva, hers. I sign her out of my logins and change passwords with a generator. Keys to my place, 1 set. The spare goes into the small fire safe with the passport and the title to my Civic. Door code rotates to a new 6-digit PIN. Couriers must text on arrival. No more, I'll pop in with the crew for a minute. Minutes became reels. Reels became weeks. The Amex where she was an authorized user cut. I keep the physical card in a labeled envelope. Drop it at the bank so there's no, I found it in a drawer loophole. I remove her device from my Apple Pay. I set alerts at $1 increments because I'd rather see the noise than miss the spike. Instead of Saturday premieres, I plan laundry, groceries, bookkeeping. I vacuum the car, reset tire pressure, and drop off e-waste. Tedious, satisfying, like tightening cabinet hinges until the doors line up. I email her from my personal account with the subject, housekeeping and boundaries. Effective immediately. 3 bullets. 1. Expenses by prior agreement. Written. 2. Pick up your things by Sunday 6 p.m. List attached. 3. Do not film or record me without explicit consent. I attach a PDF inventory of what's hers in the apartment. Ring light, 3 tote bags of costumes, 2 bins of props, makeup case, mic stand, a milk crate of branded teas, 6 thrift chairs from the storage unit. I include the pickup window and a note. If not retrieved, items will be boxed and stored under your unit. Her answer is a story within 12 minutes. A screenshot of my email header, captioned, "Controller set deadlines for love. Glitter fonts, sad violin." I log the time and move on. HR confirms my performance bonus bump. My manager smiles at stand-up. "Keep it up, Mark. Results look great." I greenlight a demo project the sales team has starved for a month, estimate the scope, ship an MVP by Friday, and sleep 8 hours for the first time in weeks. Results replace apologies on my side, not in her feed. Saturday morning, I tape a printed sign on the hallway mirror. No chaos. Enter quietly, leave clean. Underneath, a checklist with boxes. Keys, phone, wallet, water, boundaries. I pack her things in uniform banker's boxes. Label with blue painter's tape. Hannah wardrobe, Hannah props, Hannah audio. I photograph each box and email the images with the pickup window reminder. My sister texts, "You okay?" I reply, "I'm treating my life like production." Call sheet attached. She sends a heart and a picture of her dog asleep in a sunspot. At noon, Hannah arrives with Sonia and Riley. They park crooked, music loud, doors slamming like cymbals. I meet them at the threshold and point to the boxes neatly stacked by the entry. "Everything's inventoried," I say. Riley smirks at my taped labels. "He thinks he's a studio." I shrug. "Studios get paid." Sonia flips her hair. "This is humiliating." I nod toward the camera above the door. It's also recorded, because last time someone said I threw out a ring light I placed gently in a bin. Hannah scans the boxes, cheeks pinking. "This is clinical." I hand her a copy of the inventory to sign for receipt. She signs without looking up, then murmurs, "You really won't be in my content?" "Correct." They load. Sonia tries to carry the director's chair without folding it. Bumps the frame. A scratch appears. She glares at me like the wood betrayed her. I say nothing, hold the door, protect the walls with a towel. Hannah lingers by the shelf where the Zilker photo used to live. She notices the trail map. Her face hardens. "So you're, what, hiking away from us?" I answer, flat, "I'm mapping routes that don't end in an audience." When the last box is gone, I walk the apartment with a clipboard, walls fine, floors fine, closet clear. I wipe glitter from the baseboards with a lint roller. I vacuum, then brew coffee and sit at the table with my ledger. I delete 3 recurring events formerly labeled Premiere Night, After Party, and Recovery Brunch. I add Sunday Reset and Friends Non-Pod. I text Lyle, "Greenbelt, 8 a.m.? He replies with a thumbs up and a shoe emoji. At 5:44 p.m., she texts, "Can I come back tonight? I forgot my black blazer." I reply, "Yes, between 6 and 6:15. Text on arrival." She shows up at 6:22 with Riley and a phone already recording. I don't open. She texts, "Wow." I reply with a screenshot of the window and a single line, "Respect the calendar or ask for a new time." 10 minutes later, a subtweet lands, "Timers for love." I put my phone face down and fold towels. Before bed, I set focus to sleep, plug in the phone across the room, and lay out running shoes. I whisper the checklist: keys, phone, wallet, water, boundaries. The apartment hums like a server room after a clean deploy. Quiet, efficient, no alarms. My life is not television. Is a system finally patched, finally stable. Friday at 4:02 p.m., Hannah arrives with a film crew to grab her remaining things. Riley carries a gimbal like a medal. Sonia has a tote of ring lights. A third guy I don't know wears headphones that aren't plugged into anything. I've staged the boxes by the door, labeled in blue painter's tape, kitchen, wardrobe, props, miscellaneous cords. I open the door, step aside, and point at the stack. Everything's inventoried. I say, we'll sign the receipt at the end. Riley lifts the gimbal. We're going to do a final scene closure. Hannah tilts her chin, eyes shiny. Just a beat. Tears, hug, shared growth. I place my palm over the lens like a mechanic closing a hood. No recording in my home. Riley scoffs. It's public interest. I tap the sign above the shoe rack. And oh chaos. It's my lease. They shuffle. Sonia tries for charm. You don't want to come off heartless. I nod. Then don't publish me. We load. I hold doors, protect corners with towels, note dings. Hannah pauses at the shelf where the trail map hangs and does a soft inhale like she's cueing a cry. I hand her the thin manila envelope with the inventory. Initial here for the chair you said I lost. That was in Unit 17B. She rolls her eyes, initials anyway. You're losing me, and the algorithm, she says. Understood, I answer. Both are free to leave. On the sidewalk, Riley whispers loudly, cold as payroll. Hannah murmurs, he's not built for magic. I watch them Tetris the boxes into the trunk of an Uber XL. Driver already regretting the ride. Before the hatch closes, Hannah tries one last take. Can we at least hug? It'll read better. I shake my head. Real life doesn't need B-roll. The hatch thunks. Sunscreen smell and road heat spill in. Then they're gone. At 8:11 p.m., her friend posts a black square with white text. Sadly, the project's on pause. Sponsor bailed. Comments trickle, then stall. Without dramatic checks to bank shots, the audience is bored. No villain, no arc. A stranger writes, LMK when there's tea. No one replies. I eat leftover enchiladas standing at the counter. Then take out recycling in a single trip, quiet, efficient. Riley texts me at 9:03. You know content needs gas. I answer, sometimes content needs to grow up. 3 dots appear, vanish. He sends a shrug emoji, then nothing. Sonia subtweets a graphic. Controllers hate art, but it pulls 5 likes. The algorithm is an alley cat. It wanders when you stop rattling the can. I switch utilities to my solo accounts, Austin Energy, Water, Spectrum. New logins, 2-factor on, her email removed. I keep only what I pay. The rest gets canceled. I unlink her address from deliveries and remove her as a pickup contact from my Amazon locker. I photograph every service change confirmation screen like I'm documenting a lunar landing. Receipts, not threats. Saturday, I patch drywall where a prop shelf used to hang and touch up paint with the leftover eggshell from a labeled quart. Hall, December 2023. I replace a flickering bulb, oil the door hinges, and fix the wobble in the dining chair with wood glue and a clamp. Systems prefer fewer variables. I brew coffee and set the mug on a coaster instead of a coaster-shaped apology. By Monday morning, I notice the quiet on my phone. No apologies written like movie scripts. No group DMs lobbying for one last chance. No slamming door tape replays, just calendar dings I set myself. I run the boardwalk at 6:05, shower, pack lunch, sit at my desk by 8:29. My manager stops at my cube and taps the whiteboard where I've sketched a rollout. Clean work, Mark. I nod. Clean inputs. I move my savings from quiet to buffer 6 months, set an automatic transfer, and schedule a dentist appointment I've rescheduled twice. I call the storage unit, confirm her card is on file and mine is removed. The manager says, copy. We spoke to her Friday. I log the time, 10:47 a.m., and archive the email thread. At home that night, the apartment feels like the inside of a well-maintained instrument. Tuned, responsive, no rattle. I cook a simple dinner, salmon, green beans, rice, Eat at the table without an audience. Rinse, stack, wipe, done. The budget matches reality. The calendar matches execution. The inbox is boring. I text my sister a photo of the trail map and my shoes by the door. She replies with her dog in a Halloween costume. Proud of you, she writes. I type back, I'm proud of my systems. Before bed, I open the note titled Receipts, H. I add the last line. Sponsorship ended. Stage emptied. Utility solo, order achieved. I close it, not with relief, not with triumph, just with the quiet click of a latch engaging. Then I turn out the light and sleep. A month later I total it up. The absence of spectacle has numbers now. I've saved $1,796.44, what used to evaporate into urgent candles and ride shares, moved into an emergency fund labeled Buffer 6. I paid $399 for a project management course, finished the modules, passed the quiz, and printed the certificate on the office laser like a dad. I'm not reinvented. I'm simply resourced. I joined a lap swim pool. 6:10 a.m. lanes are half empty and honest. I picked the guitar back up. The calluses hurt again in a good way. I set a tiny rule set for myself. No phone in bed. No reading comments. No schedule drift after 9 p.m. Groceries sit in a shared note with prices. I hit HEB once a week. By what's on the list, cook what I can pronounce. Work reflects back calm. My manager loops me into a thorny integration with a cheerful, Mark's good at boring hard things. I ship a logging overhaul on time, write documentation anyone can follow, and go home at 5:42 instead of 8:30. I don't apologize to empty rooms or explain feelings to strangers with its signs. Results stand there solid as a server rack. Hannah streams with a new crowd now, toxic stability, narrative scarcity. Words like that. The numbers are lower, the novelty curve bent toward gravity. Without chauffeured illusions, reality weighs more. She sends no barb texts and I send no summaries. We are, at last, two separate budgets. Friends ask what happened. I keep the same sentence in my mouth, so I don't improvise. I answered. Stability pays bills, not drama. Then I canceled the chaos budget, closed the door on performances, and scheduled my life like a business meeting. Results showed up instead of apologies. Her audience disappeared when the sponsorship ended. Fits in one breath. Contains exactly the decisions I control. There's no secret moral beyond arithmetic. Titles matter. Leaseholder versus occupant. Owner versus authorized user. Boundaries matter. Calendar windows, written agreements, consent on camera. I keep the receipts not to win internet trials, but to remember I did this on purpose. There's a paper trail for my own doubt. Small delights come back like they were waiting at the curb. I track 5K pace drops by 20-second chunks and celebrate with pancakes I make in a cast-iron skillet I finally seasoned right. I rewire a flickery floor lamp with a $9 switch and a fluke beep, then read under it like I deserve wattage. I swap a wobbly cabinet catch for a magnetic close that stays shut every time. Quiet chores, reliable endorphins. My mother asks if I'm lonely. I tell her I'm sometimes alone and never unguarded. When I want company, I text 3 people who don't want a plot, just a walk and tacos. We go to the greenbelt, carry water, pick up bottle caps, say nothing for whole minutes, and nobody narrates it into content. That silence feels older than I am. I kept one ritual, the Sunday finance review. Takes 14 minutes now. I reconcile 3 accounts, drag screenshots into a folder, note no anomalies, and close the lid. The budget matches reality. The calendar matches execution. Boredom has a good face if you look straight at it. If you want to change the names and the city, go ahead. The math stays. Respect plus boundaries equals the sort of quiet where you can finally hear your own life clicking into place. The latch engaging, the fridge hum leveling, your feet finding the morning floor. There's no applause. There's coffee. There's no audience. There's a trail map and shoes by the door. I put on the shoes, lock the door once, and go.